This winter isn't going to be normal. In fact, winter 2025 is shaping up to be one of the strangest and most dangerous seasons we've faced in over a decade. If you're not ready, the cold won't be your only problem. You could be staring real survival in the face. Over the next few minutes, I'm going to walk you through 10 must-have items that could literally mean the difference between comfort and chaos. Stick around, because number 7 is the one almost nobody thinks about, and it just might save your life. I've spent the last week digging into NOAA's newest winter forecasts, scanning reports from emergency agencies, and even checking inside information from power companies and supply chains. What I found is honestly chilling: wild temperature swings, massive shortages on basic goods, and an alarming rise in winter storm blackouts that could rival the disasters of 2014. And make no mistake, this winter isn't just about staying warm, it's about keeping food on the table, keeping your family safe, and finding ways to stay connected when the grid goes dark. Before we dive in, I want to hear from you. Have you already noticed signs that this winter is different? Empty shelves at your local store? Prices spiking on propane or even basic canned goods? Drop a comment down below. Your story might be the warning someone else needs before it's too late. Alright, let's get started. Item #10. Long-lasting comfort food that actually tastes good. Food is the one thing none of us can live without. But let's be real, nobody wants to survive the apocalypse on sad beans straight from a can. Calories are important, yes, but so is morale. When it's freezing cold, the lights are out, and the house feels like an icebox, the comfort of a warm, familiar meal can completely change the mood. Instead of choking down bland survival packs, stock up on meals that bring real comfort. Think shelf-stable mac and cheese that cooks with just hot water, or hearty soups with actual vegetables you can recognize: carrots, potatoes, beans. Freeze-dried chili with real chunks of beef, paired with instant mashed potatoes that taste like they came from grandma's kitchen. Some brands even use real butter and milk powder. Just add water, stir, and suddenly you're eating something that feels like home. Last winter, during a blackout, I made one of these meals for my kids, and instead of panicking, they thought it was an indoor camping adventure. That's the power of food. It doesn't just fill your stomach, it calms your mind. Pro tip: don't let these meals just sit in storage until disaster strikes. Rotate them into your regular pantry. Eat them now and then, replace them when you shop. That way your supplies stay fresh, and your family gets used to the taste. And if you're someone who likes a little luxury, yes, you can even find freeze-dried meals with truffle oil and wild mushrooms. Survival doesn't have to taste like cardboard. Item #9. A portable power bank with solar backup. Now let's talk about the one thing almost everyone grabs first in a blackout: your phone. It's your flashlight, your weather radio, your emergency contact line. But here's the catch. When the power is gone, your battery drains faster than you expect. And once it's dead, you're cut off. No light, no updates, no way to call for help. That's not just inconvenient, it can be life-threatening. That's why you need a serious portable power bank. Get one with at least 20,000 milliamp hours. That's enough to recharge your phone 4 or 5 times, and the better ones can even power tablets, flashlights, or small emergency devices. But don't stop there, look for a model with solar backup. It charges slowly in the sun, sure, but when the grid is down for days, that little solar panel can keep you connected when everyone else is in the dark. Now here's the truth about solar power banks. No, they're not magic wands that charge your phone in 5 minutes. But on a clear winter day, that little solar panel can give you just enough power to send a text, check the weather, or even light your way. And in a blackout, sometimes just enough is everything. The best part: you don't need to spend hundreds of dollars. Reliable models are out there for under $50. That's cheaper than a night out with pizza and a movie. I keep mine plugged in right by my coffee maker, so it's always topped off and ready to go. No scrambling, no stress. When the lights suddenly flicker and die, I don't panic. I just grab my power bank. But listen, here's something people forget: test it before you need it. Plug in your phone, run a flashlight, and see how long it lasts. The last thing you want is to discover you bought a dud while you're already sitting in the dark. Trust me, this tiny gadget is worth every penny when the world outside feels frozen solid. Item #8. Thermal curtains and DIY draft stoppers. Now let's talk about the sneakiest enemy in your house during winter: your windows. They might look harmless, but the second temperatures drop, those panes of glass become giant cold vacuums sucking the warmth out of your home. You can crank the heat all you want, but if your windows are leaking air, you're basically paying to heat the outdoors.
Eee. And your heating bill?
It's going to look like a ransom note.
Eee.
That's where thermal curtains come in. They look like normal curtains, no weird bunker vibes, but they're lined with a material that blocks the cold. Last winter, I put them up in my living room, and the difference was unreal. Overnight, my icy space turned into a cozy cabin. Even my dog, who used to hide under the couch, finally came out and napped by the window. A decent pair costs around $20, which is less than what you'll save on a single heating bill. Close them at night, and it feels like you just tucked your whole house under a warm blanket. And if you're crafty, or just don't feel like spending extra, make your own draft stoppers. It's so simple. Take an old sock or a fabric tube, fill it with rice or beans, sew it shut, and place it at the bottom of any door or drafty window. My kid and I made one out of a striped sock, and we named it Chilly Willy's Nemesis. Now it guards the back door like a bouncer, blocking the cold from sneaking in. These fixes don't just save money, they make your home feel warmer, safer, and more comfortable, without screaming prepper. Item #7, a multi-fuel camp stove. Now picture this. The power's out. Your oven is dead weight. Your microwave? Just a shiny paperweight on the counter. You open the fridge and stare at a half-frozen lasagna, wondering if eating it cold counts as survival. That's when the multi-fuel camp stove becomes a lifesaver. And this isn't just a camping toy, it's a real survival tool for anyone who wants to keep eating like a human being when the grid is down. The beauty is in its flexibility. It doesn't just run on propane. You can use white gas, kerosene, even alcohol fuel. Why is that important? Because the moment a storm hits, propane disappears from store shelves faster than toilet paper in 2020. But with a multi-fuel stove, you've got options. You're not stuck. Last winter, during a 3-day outage, I set mine up right on the kitchen counter, cracked a window for safety, and cooked a full meal. Scrambled eggs, toast, hot coffee. My kids thought we were on a mini vacation. My dog? He wouldn't stop circling the stove trying to steal bacon. And let me tell you, for my fellow food lovers, this is your chance to keep some normalcy. Fry potatoes, simmer soup, or flip golden pancakes. This isn't just survival food, it's comfort food, made possible even when the world outside feels frozen and powerless. The truth about camp stoves is this: they're not just about cooking, they're about sanity. When the world outside feels like it's falling apart, the smell of warm food can bring back a sense of normal. But let me say this clearly: safety first. Never use a camp stove in a sealed room. Always crack a window, or cook near ventilation. With just a little care, it's far safer than fumbling with candles, or trying to build a makeshift fire indoors. And here's the good news: a solid multi-fuel stove doesn't cost a fortune. Most range from $50 to $80, which is less than one dinner out for a family of 4. They fold down small enough to stash in a closet or slide under the bed, so they're out of sight until you need them. And when the power goes out, and the cold settles in, that little stove isn't just going to keep you fed, it's going to keep you sane. Item #6, smart layering essentials, not just sweaters. Let's be real. When the heat goes out, your favorite hoodie won't cut it. And sure, wrapping yourself in a blanket like a human burrito feels cozy at first, but it won't save you in a house that's dropping toward freezer temperatures. To survive hours or even days, without heat, you've got to think like someone braving the wilderness, not someone binge-watching Netflix. The secret is layering, but not just throwing on random clothes. It's about building the right layers in the right order. First, you need a solid base layer. Not cotton. Cotton is a trap. It soaks up sweat, and yes, you'll sweat even in the cold, leaving you wet and freezing. Instead, go for thermal or moisture-wicking fabric that hugs your skin. This is your first line of defense against the cold. On top of that, you need a mid-layer. This is where warmth lives. Fleece jackets, wool sweaters, or even a lightweight down vest. These layers trap heat close to your body, like insulation in your walls. And remember, wool is magic. It still keeps you warm even if it gets damp. Finally, you need an outer shell, something windproof and water-resistant. You might think you don't need that indoors, but drafts sneak in through windows and doors, and they steal your body heat fast. A good shell traps everything inside, turning your layers into a personal heating system. And don't ignore your extremities. You lose tons of heat through your head, so grab a beanie. Gloves are non-negotiable, and thermal socks. Essential. Walking across icy floors in bare feet feels like stepping on ice cubes. Trust me, I keep a thick pair of socks by my bed just for midnight bathroom runs. The best part? You don't need to spend big money. Thermal base layers are cheap online. Fleece goes on sale every fall, and if you've got old ski gear in the attic, dust it off. This isn't about fashion, it's about survival. And once you feel the difference, you'll never go back to shivering in one sweater again. Item #5. Emergency water supply and purification. Now here's a mistake almost everyone makes. They stockpile food, batteries, and blankets, but they forget about the one thing you can't live without: water. Big mistake. When the power goes out, pumps stop. When pipes freeze, they burst. Suddenly that tap you've trusted your whole life is either bone dry or spitting out brown sludge you wouldn't let your dog drink. And no, boiling alone isn't always enough to make it safe. Here's the rule: store water before you need it. Aim for at least 1 gallon per person per day. That covers drinking, cooking, even basic hygiene. For a family of 4, that's 12 gallons for just 3 days. Sounds like a lot? Trust me, when the shelves are stripped bare and the roads are iced over, you'll be glad you planned ahead. And you don't need fancy survival jugs to do this. Regular clean containers, repurposed food-grade bottles, or even large storage bins with lids can work if you prepare them properly. The key is to start now, not later, because when water stops flowing, it's already too late. Clean water is the one thing people overlook, until it's gone. Sure, you can buy bottled water, but clean plastic jugs from juice or soda work just as well. If you really want to go all out, grab a few food-grade water barrels from a hardware store. Label them, stash them in a cool dark spot, and rotate every 6 months. Drink the old water, refill with fresh, and you'll always be ready. Simple, but let's be real. What if you run out? That's where purification becomes your lifeline. A simple filter straw can save your life. It lets you drink straight from streams, melted snow, or even the clean water inside your toilet tank. Yes, the tank, not the bowl. Purification drops are another must-have. A few drops, a few minutes, and suddenly dangerous water becomes safe. I keep a pack in my emergency kit, and even an extra in my car, just in case. There are also portable filters that look like water bottles. Fill them with questionable water, give them a squeeze, and boom, safe drinking water on demand. And don't forget your pets. They need clean water too. One winter, I tried giving my dog a bowl filled with sketchy water. She just looked up at me with this face like, "You've got to be kidding." Lesson learned. Water isn't just important, it's non-negotiable. You can last weeks without food, but only a few days without water. So while everyone else is panic buying ramen noodles, be the one who has the single most important survival tool already ready: safe drinkable water. Item #4. A reliable battery-powered radio. Now this one might sound old school, but it's a game changer. A radio. I'm not talking about your car stereo or Spotify. I mean a simple battery-powered emergency radio. When the power's out, your phone is dead, and the Wi-Fi is gone. How are you supposed to know what's happening? No weather updates, no emergency alerts, no clue if the roads are clear, or if help is on the way. That's not just inconvenient, that's dangerous. A radio doesn't care if the grid is down. It doesn't care if your phone is turned into a useless brick. Get one that runs on AA or AAA batteries. And if you want to upgrade, look for one with a hand crank, or a built-in solar panel. Some models even double as flashlights or power banks for your phone. I bought mine for about $25, and it's been worth every penny. The best part, it automatically plays NOAA weather alerts, so even if I forget to turn it on, it warns me if a storm is coming. It's like having a tiny guardian angel in a box. Last winter, when the lights went out, that radio was the only thing keeping us informed. It told us when the roads would be plowed, when the power might be restored, and even when schools were closed. And here's the nostalgic bonus: it plays AM/FM. So while the storm raged outside, we sat in the living room sipping hot chocolate, listening to a local music station, and pretending we'd traveled back to the 80s. My kids thought it was the coolest thing ever. The beauty of a radio is in its simplicity. No apps, no logins, no endless updates. Just turn the dial, tune in, and get the information you need. When everything else fails, this little device could be the one thing standing between you and total isolation. It's not just a gadget, it's peace of mind in the palm of your hand.